This week we meet a true early stage startup, the epitome of the Swim Against the Tide podcast. Adam Miller talks to us about launching his new 8-month-old venture, an Aussie Sushi brand called Rolled. He shares his entrepreneurial journey from the age of 16, working in startups across Australia and then later in the UK, to now launching his unique sushi brand across the country. He discusses the challenges and opportunities in the competitive food and beverage market and the importance of building a strong team as a business rapidly scales. He shares insights on the importance of engaging customers and building a community, whilst also not forgetting to have fun at work at the same time. The conversation also touches on the dynamics of working with family and the shared vision for the future. I hope you enjoy. Today we welcome Adam Miller, founder of Rolled. Adam, welcome to the podcast.
G'day. Thank you for having me on, Steve.
Oh, you got to start with your stereotypical good day, haven't you, there? Without even me taking the mickey out of that.
But you can't take Australia out of the boy, as they say.
There you go, yeah. Even those years in the UK and Japan have not quite done that. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. It's quite an exciting one for me, this, because I've spoken to lots of different brands already on the podcast, and a lot of them have been a bit further on the journey. So it's really quite exciting for me to talk to you right at the beginning of this journey, because we can definitely have a follow-up. But, you know, you've gone and entered, let's just say, quite a competitive market, even if you just looked at the sushi side of it, but the wider, obviously, you know, F&B sector. So it's going to be great to uncover what you've seen, what you've discovered, and what you're trying to conquer in that market. We always kick the podcast off, if it's all right with you, Adam, with a bit of a background and history as to how you've ended up at your very early days, just making me feel old, but your very early days of setting up this business now, and how you got there, because I think it's a great story and there's some really good life lessons in that, never mind the business stuff that we'll get onto as well.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I just want to say thank you for having me on and giving me a platform to share my story. And I think, you know, podcasts typically, as you sort of just alluded to, platforms where you sort of dive into really successful businesses and long-standing ones. So hopefully it's a bit of fun diving into, you know, the early stages, and we're very much in the trenches and busting our asses at the moment to get to where we believe we can. And as you say, we'll hopefully have another follow-on conversation in a few years, and it will be a very different one. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, to go, you know, back to the start and my journey. I guess for me, you know, like if we go all the way back, like I'm the son of a psychologist and a businessman, which I think makes for a very interesting combination. And the dinner table conversations at night, every night, were always very interesting, because it was a blend of, you know, business, which my dad would do. He had a range of businesses, and then my mum is a psychologist, and all kinds of psychology, organizational psychology and clinical psychology. So I kind of grew up in this like really stimulating environment, and always knew that I actually wanted to do business. Never knew, like, I think a lot of people don't know what they want to do. I knew, fortunately, very early that I wanted to be involved in business. I just didn't know what. And I guess just through chance, I fell into startups when I was about 16. And, you know, I had, the way it sort of started was I had an Instagram page when I was 14, 15 years old, just posting photos of burgers on Instagram, and I grew a few thousand followers, and I loved photography, I still do. And through that, you know, a bunch of guys in Sydney saw my Instagram page, and they reached out to me. They didn't know how old I was at the time, and they said they had this idea for a kind of consumer app, which would allow people to find and discover the best burger restaurants around Australia. It was very niche. If only we'd just done all restaurants, would be probably a very different story today. But yeah, so I was 16. They offered me, you know, like equity in this whole full-time role, awesome salary. And, you know, they thought I was 21 at the time. I was, as I said, 16, but it was too late.
It's a bit like the dating apps there. Everybody either adds or takes off 5 years, don't they?
Yeah.
Apparently.
So I don't want to say I catfished him, but I guess that's kind of what happened. And yeah, so I joined that startup um, and actually worked with them for 2 or 3 years in kind of a business development capacity where I was, um, selling these restaurant owners on our platform and doing a bit of marketing, account management, just like general business exposure, which was great. And, there was no sort of risk on my behalf, other than, the time and energy I was putting into it. But, I was going from maths class at 11 a.m. And then like skipping school to go meet a restaurant owner at 2 p.m. to sell them on our platform. So I caught the bug very early, and like the thrill of business and the um, I guess freedom that comes alongside being able to sort of make decisions and control your own destiny. Um, so yeah, it was with that business for 2 or 3 years that ultimately we put that to bed. It wasn't a great business, but as I said, great learnings from that. And from there, I didn't really know um, exactly what I wanted to do. So I went to university, and I lasted about 5 minutes there before I realized that it wasn't for me. So
At least
uh,
you tried it.
yeah, yeah. Look, I you know I like to listen to my mother and believe that she knows
It's
what's
quite
best.
healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I wanted to keep my options opened. And so I like to think I'm pretty pragmatic about things, and that's why I did that. And yeah, as I said, when I got there, I realized it wasn't really for me. So dropped out and didn't really know again what I was going to do. So I had a network in hospitality already from the prior venture, so I went into sort of freelance photography. Was doing that for a few months, utilizing my photography skills and hospitality network. And then I found another startup in Melbourne, which was doing sort of QR code menus with order and pay functionality. This is kind of going back not too long, relative to things, but it was like pre-COVID, sort of around 2019, 2020. Um, and yeah, saw this small startup, was called Mr. Yum at the time, and got in touch with them. I felt like it was the perfect intersection of all my hobbies and passions and interests and skills. So I was like, startup tick, Melbourne-based tick, hospitality tick, tech tick, and I can do sales or business development, something
Yeah,
commercial.
and you've already got the network. You say you built with the was it the Burger Collective, the other one? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it. So and I had nothing to lose, tick. So I reached out to the founder and CEO Kim and just said like, I feel like I'm your man. I would love to do anything that you've got available. There were like 10 people in the team at the time, and she was just like, yeah, why not? So I joined there and just happened to get lucky with the timing. COVID it ended up accelerating our business massively, and in the blink of an eye, we grew from 10 people to 300 and offices,
Wow.
across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, South Africa, the US, UK. Um, and that's when I got shipped over to the UK when I was 21. And
You definitely were 21 this time, were
I
you?
was, yeah, this time I was I was 21. So yeah, yeah, got shipped over to the UK, and I guess it was here like I was exposed to the industry in a way that opened my eyes very differently to Australia. Like the industry in the UK, if you look at it, it's a country that's I think it's around like 23 times smaller than Australia, with a population 2.5, 3 times bigger. So it's like super dense. Um, and there are just so many like unbelievable chains and high street brands. And in Australia, chains don't do well. Like high
Yeah,
street brands aren't really a thing. Starbucks only exist because of tourists. Aussies will
yeah,
not go to Starbucks.
yeah.
And pub groups in Australia will brand every single pub individually. You will not know it's a group. Like, so the UK was very different. I was seeing all these brands,
Yeah, it's what
amazing
everyone.
brands, and they were getting like great business because of the brand they built, not necessarily because they were amazing quality food product. But yeah, so a lot was going on in the back of my mind. but underpinning this all was this one kind of realization I had when I was 16. If I just jump back a second, I was on exchange in Japan, and um, I remember having this like aha moment, if you will, where I was in the streets and I was in Tokyo. I was living there doing like a summer at school there, and I had this moment where I was like, "Where's the sushi?" Like I I couldn't find the sushi that I was used to consuming in Australia, and this is we call them hand rolls in Australia, and when you're going to get sushi, this is what you get. And there is a sushi place, on every high street and every shopping center. Like it's unavoidable, and I grew up eating it. I consumed it every week for lunch. Um, you know, Similar to how Londoners might view a Pret sandwich, or Northerners might view a Greggs sausage roll. Like these things are everywhere, super ubiquitous. And when I got to Japan, I just couldn't see them. They didn't
Yeah.
exist. And so I didn't do anything with that thought at the time, but I deposited it in the long-term memory. But it resurfaced when I moved back, or when I moved to the UK, and the gap revealed itself again to me. Like there's no sushi here. There's no like hand rolls, um, and what characterizes a hand roll is it's like this long piece of sushi that is not being cut up, so it's served whole as a hand roll, and you just get like two or three for lunch, and you don't need chopsticks, and it's like no mess, and it's like it's super on the go, healthy, delicious, fresh. They're like they just hit every point. And when I was working, I was in like Aldgate East, and then Farringdon, and there's loads of good lunch options around there, but I just found myself like feeling like I really needed a roll. Um, but I was very happy in my job. So, you know, I think 3 years went by almost, and um, moved up to Manchester to help grow the company up north. And Mr. Yum ended up merging with Me and You, as it's known today. Me and You was like our big competitor, who was based in Sydney, or from like originally founded in Sydney, but also operated in the UK. And so we merged, very big company, very different company to when I started. And, I still really loved the place, but I felt like I'm a 0 to 1 guy, and that business was well and truly in its like, 1 to 2 or beyond phase. So it was just a
Hmm.
different business. So yeah, I was thinking about this sushi thing, and the gap felt real. And in the end, I decided, you know what? Um, I if no one's going to do this, then I'm just going to do it. Like, I feel like at this point, I have the networks, I have the like, hospitality understanding.
Yeah,
Um,
you built a pretty good network up quickly, haven't you, in UK, for what you can
yeah,
see? Yeah.
yeah, I was like lucky that my job kind of enabled me to gain exposure to some really good quality hospitality operators across the country. And um, yeah, I thought, with the help of, certain people, and with a bit of ticker, as we call it in Australia, which is just like, heart and determination, that yeah, I don't have much to lose. Like I was 24, no mortgage, no kids, no debt, responsibility, any of that. So I was like, I may as well give it a go and just see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? It absolutely, you know, it falls over, and I need to move home to the comfort, of my family home, where I'm sure my mum and dad would be happy to have me back,
Yeah.
cooking meals for me. So that was kind of my view. Just go for it. And yeah, it's been 8 or 9 months now since we launched. We managed to secure a launch location of the Trafford Centre, which is, an iconic shopping centre in Manchester, and we ended up opening up our second location in the Arndale in the city centre of Manchester a few months after that. So yeah, we're around 9 months in now. Got the two locations. We've got our third location opening in a matter of weeks, which is going to be in London, and we're very close to opening a number of other sites across the country. But Rolled is what we're calling Aussie-style sushi, and it's the first and the only Aussie-style sushi brand in the UK. So we're trying to
Yeah.
create a new category. We're trying to own the category, um, and more broadly, you know. we feel there's an opportunity to become the most loved sushi brand in the UK. So that's where we're aiming.
Yeah, yeah.
See how we go.
And so, talk us through the. Sorry, it's a fascinating journey, and you should, without sounding condescending, you should be incredibly proud because loads of people have ideas, and even getting to one store, never mind two and about to be three and four, is a major, major achievement from your drive. So, just talk us through how you came around getting the first site in Manchester, because even that, the Trafford Centre has serious footfall, and I'm sure quite a few different people knocking on the door to say, can we have that space to, for them from a food offering?
Yeah, thank you. I believe it was kind of a perfect storm which played into our favor. You know, shopping centers are going through a bit of a resurgence, and they're being revitalized. You know, they need to compete with um, e-commerce now, so they need to create these experiences that you can't get online. So there's been, I think, a bit of a mindset shift with the way these um, shopping center asset managers view the places. And I think to their credit, they're doing a good job of incorporating new brands, young brands, local brands, as well as more kind of leisure and entertainment. So that combined with the fact that what we were offering was very unique, but very proven in a market similar. So
Yeah,
that's one key, I guess, strength of ours is like we're not trying to convince anyone of anything like drastically new. It's just new to them.
yeah.
When I was
And it's,
last,
I suppose, sorry, just because I've obviously looked into this to make sure people, before they have, it's obviously they'll recognise it to look like sushi, but it's a sizable. You're holding it in your hand, aren't you? It's great from that
yeah,
point of view.
yeah.
So you're not selling the concept of sushi. You're selling of a different way of wrapping it up with some really cool fillings. For what I was quite hungry at lunchtime today looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly your point. Like we're not reinventing the wheel. It's just a different format of something that
Yeah,
people already understand. Um, and there is a lot of education required on our behalf, like, um, having to teach people that they don't need chopsticks or that, how many to consume because people don't know how many is going to fill
yeah,
them up, you know.
yeah,
So we have to work pretty hard and like we've got great front of house staff that uh, most of them are Aussie to be honest. So they've grown up also consuming this product
okay,
and talk
yeah,
about it secondhand. But yeah, for us, it's like people know what sushi is. So um, that's one hurdle that we've already overcome. And so with these shop, like getting into the Trafford Centre to your original question, it was something that they could understand, they could grasp because everyone knows what sushi is.
yeah,
Um, and then we just had to do a good job of presenting to them, the opportunity and how it complements their offering. I remember at the time, like I um, I sent them like almost like a pitch deck. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just thought if I send them like a presentation, which now I understand is like a landlord pack, and this is a very normal thing, but I effectively created a landlord pack, um, which said, this is who we are, this is our story, this is our menu. But then I included a few more personal slides saying like at that point in time as well, the Trafford Centre only had like one Yo Sushi to go kiosk. Yo Sushi was inside of Selfridges. So actually, Selfridges owned that lease with Yo Sushi. So there was no other sushi offering at the time. Now there's an Itsu, and then there's a new sort of higher end Japanese restaurant as well. So there's plenty of sushi in the Trafford Centre. But
yeah,
I tried to I guess highlight to them the opportunity, the gap in their shopping centre, how we could come in and support that or complement that. And I'm just again lucky that my history and my sales background is kind of where I learnt how to not just sell products, but sell myself, sell our brand. Ultimately, I felt like the reason we could get in there was because we were very aligned with what they were missing, and it was just um, illuminating
yeah.
that alignment.
Which is sales, isn't it? You're trying to explain the need they don't realise they've got, and then how you
Yeah,
fill it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not you like the last thing I want to do is actually convince anyone of anything. Like I'm not interested in that. I think, all sales is, as you say, like highlighting a need and talking to how you can um, support that. And it just felt like a good match. So, they were fortunately receptive and um, quite supportive. So that's how we got in.
Brilliant. And so, what size is it? Like a just so people haven't seen it, is it like a restaurant or is it a kiosk? How's it delivered in the two sites that you're at so far?
Yeah, so look, in Australia, the concept covers different formats. You could have like an inline, like a shop, just a not like a walk in. It's got seating, it's got a kitchen in there. You can have a kiosk. You can have hybrid sort of setups. Right now, our two are just mid-mall kiosks. So we're right in the middle of the shopping centre. You walk in, there's a huge display fridge with all the sushi rolls that have been made, that day. They're sitting in there, kind of like if you walk up to a Krispy Kreme cabinet and you see
Yeah,
the display of donuts.
yeah,
That's what you're looking at with us, but it's these sushi rolls. And you touched on earlier the sort of variety of the fillings and the different options. And one of the great things about Australia is that effectively, we're a colony of both England, but of migrants more broadly. And, we have um, infused all of these cultures and traditions and all these different foods into our Australian culture. And I guess the outcome of that is that like we're quite innovative when it comes to food, and we've got a license to do whatever we want because
yeah.
we are a nation of migrants and a melting pot of cultures. So we use that flexibility and we apply that to our menu, and we feel like we aren't bound by traditional Japanese rules, and that's why we put teriyaki chicken in our sushi, or cooked tuna, or whatever it is. We honestly we put all kinds of things in the sushi, and people seem to love it, and yeah, it just allows us to innovate and have a bit of fun with it all.
So, what's the biggest seller gone? Share now. What's the biggest seller in Manchester?
Unsurprisingly, it's the crispy chicken, which is effectively like fried chicken, mayo, lettuce in rice. Everyone loves fried
Genius.
chicken,
Yeah. I mean,
but you know
what's not
what?
to love?
Yeah, and it's delicious. Like I love it too. It's probably one of the top sellers in Australia as well, from what I understand. And um, the good thing about that role is we get a few different types of customers come to us, and actually a lot of the time we have people come to us and they say, I don't like sushi, um, uh, or they haven't had sushi or whatever it is, and we always direct them to the crispy chicken because we're like, you like chicken? Yeah. You like rice? Yeah. Cool. Just try this one.
Knock yourself out. Yeah,
Trust
yeah.
us. It's the gateway drug, as we say. And it happens so frequently, actually, that like we have these little pins which have like this thing that says like first time roller. And so whenever we get someone that comes and they try sushi for the first time, we like give them this pin and make a big moment out of it because, like for us, it's a big deal that they're trying this for the first time. And uh, I want to say quite frequently we get them coming back and saying, "You got me." Like,
Yeah, yeah. What's next? Where's
yeah,
my journey taking me
like
next? Yeah,
we corrupt them in the best way. But yeah, the crispy chicken, it's hard to go past. It's delicious.
that's brilliant. So, have you had any help setting up? Obviously, I know you were the original driver. How are you coping now? Because even managing two sites, never mind trying to find another three, two, three, whatever, and grow.
Yeah,
So, what's the team? How's the team built out? And
yeah.
I know you've had a little bit of family help, haven't you?
I have. My brother and I always had this dream to work together. When we were younger, we wanted to have our own marketing agency. And so in a roundabout way, and we laugh about it now, but we're working together. And
Yeah,
so he flew over, he dropped everything back home and moved to Manchester. Um, and he does all our marketing. He's been doing like an amazing job. I think we probably receive, more compliments on our like social media game than anything. Um, and so he does all our marketing, which I don't know how I ever imagined I would do that without him. Like seriously, I don't know what, I guess it's just delusion, um, which was enough to get me started. But he does all our marketing. We've got an amazing operations manager called Blage who just happened to be my neighbour when I moved to Manchester. But he's got a background in hospitality and a corporate background as well, so quite a good kind of hybrid. And so he looks after our operations, and then quite serendipitously as well. When my brother JJ was moving to Manchester, and he was viewing some places to live, one of the viewings that we were doing, um, you know, the guy asked us what we do for work, and we told him, and he said, "Oh, my best mate has been, a head chef at Yo Sushi, and he's, been a chef for 20 years, and he's actually looking for a job." And so, yeah, we ended up linking up with this guy, Dazza, as we call him, who he's a Mancunian through and through, but his dad lives in Melbourne, and he's happened to live in Melbourne himself, which
Well,
is, which
that's
is,
spooky, nearly, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and a specialist sushi chef, like ex head chef at Yo Sushi. And so, it was a complete no-brainer. So we linked up with him, and he leads our kitchen team and has been since day one. So like, we got an awesome team. And then, I just do my best to utilize some of the industry connections that have sort of supported from from day one, and it's just a team effort.
So how's your role then evolved? As obviously your brother's taken over the marketing and that
Yeah,
side, creative side. You've
yeah,
got someone on product. Are you very much about finding locations, doing that commercial side?
yeah. I mean, I guess a lot of the boring stuff falls to me. I got to make sure, like, all the numbers are stacking up. Our reporting, our systems. The fun components are the site scouting and general expansion type stuff. Like raising capital and just generally, setting the vision and the tone. And I'm still figuring it out every day, to be honest. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of guided by my intuition. And yeah, there's I want to try and support Blage in ops and JJ in marketing and Dazza and in the kitchen on all the specials we've got going on, all the various marketing activations and partnerships we've got going on. Blage with all of his operational endeavors. So I'm trying to do my best to support them. I know I can be better, but I kind of just get pulled in different directions and also try and set my schedule in a way where I've got some kind of routine with the way that I do reporting and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of the unsexy stuff falls to the founder. As we grow and we can afford to hire people to do different things, I'll do my best to delegate that out and focus on the bigger picture stuff.
I was about to say, where do you see your actual sort of superpower lying? Obviously, you've got a massive entrepreneurial drive to do
Mm,
this thing in the first place, and the way you skip school and everything, it's obviously always been there.
mm.
So where can you define your perfect role within the organisation?
I should have done this already, to be honest, and I could
It's never too late,
put
Adam.
some
It's never
steps in
too
place
late.
to achieve it. So there's my homework after this, Steve. But I think just speaking kind of reactively to that, my perfect role is one where I can almost just be there to support anyone, whilst they are just crushing their roles. I'm obviously very enthusiastic about expansion, and so assessing new sites is very fun, and talking big picture and just anything to do with growing the business and making it bigger. And JJ and I, we've done some pretty funny marketing stunts, which I really enjoy. Like being able to detach from the business for a day to do a marketing stunt. Like we flew to Amsterdam to deliver some sushi to an Aussie who DM'd us on Instagram who missed Aussie-style sushi. So that was really fun, and just like some of the silly marketing stuff we do, it's just fun, and we're here to have fun. So, the ideal role is one where I can incorporate a bit of big picture, expansive, um, interesting, stimulating, expansion type stuff, and then mix it in with just some fun marketing bits and then supporting everyone else whilst they, do their best.
It's interesting. Sorry, it's interesting to hear you answer that because you're describing it as fun, and obviously it was. You enjoyed it, but it feels like a lot of the essence of the brand that you've built in Rolled is obviously a reflection of your character, and if you can have fun doing it, people are going to want to be part of it. There's going to be. It's like that FOMO feeling of right, what's going on with Adam and what they're doing, why they're flying there, and then people will be drawn into the brand because of that. So I wouldn't dismiss it as just because you two have enjoyed it that it's not a serious part of what you do. I think it's probably absolutely crucial of what people will start to buy into.
Yeah, you're probably right, and I think increasingly in today's day and age, the walls between businesses and the people that run them are being shattered, and people want to get insight and feel like they know a business truly. So that kind of works in our favor because, at the end of the day, it's slightly lower budget stuff that we do, but it does allow people to feel like they have a deeper connection to our business, and when they buy our sushi, they feel like they're actually like, they know us. We get people come up to the stand and they feel like they know us because they've seen us, and that's great. And I think you are right that it is an extension of us at the moment. Finding a way to scale that, I think, is a
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah,
And like, there's tension between scaling and becoming kind of mass appeal, but retaining that personal touch and the like the true authentic motive and that fun piece you speak about. So you know that's something that we'll need to address as we grow. But for now, we can do our best to incorporate as much of it as possible.
I think just going back to what you're saying, that sort of we obviously do a lot of creative content for clients, and the behind the scenes stuff is what most gets most engagement and
Mm,
most shares and most interaction, because people want to, when they discover a brand for whatever it is, whatever it does, doesn't matter. They want to feel that they get it and they understand it better than the next person, and
yeah.
so that way they start to own it, and then that becomes your advocates. And
Mm,
the world, like you're saying there, is from when I first started marketing in the 90s, is a very different place. But
mm,
actually, it's kind of, if you get it right and you've got what you're certainly not lacking is authenticity in what you're doing. And people want them to get behind that because they realise you're not this big machine, this big slick, multinational corporation.
mm.
They can see you, they can see you in the videos, and I think you're right. The balance is then how does that grow? But then you need to sort of bring that sort of pyramid system down of other people that are part of it and they can own the different locations. But it's going
Yeah,
to help you, isn't it, as to who do I
yeah,
put in charge of that
yeah,
destination or that one?
yeah. And look, it's funny. Our most viewed TikTok video is one of the earlier ones we posted, which was like our 6 month journey to the start line. So, everything that came before actually launching, which was, testing the menu and like, going to the site before it was there and mapping out, okay, that's going to do that, and going to the construction warehouse to see us building it. So that's like our most viewed TikTok.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes
and
sense, doesn't it, though? When
yeah,
you just stop for a second and go, that's really cool, because
you
there'll
don't
be
get to see that.
millions of people will never do that, Adam,
Mm,
in their life. Well, more than tens of millions of people. And so we all like to we laugh about parents vicariously living through their children's sport and things like that. It's the same thing with businesses and brands. They want to know, how did he open that shop in the Trafford Centre or in the middle of Manchester in
yeah,
Arndale? And it's like,
anyone can do it.
yeah.
Yeah, and
But that's
showing
part
them.
of it, isn't it? To prove
Yeah,
you can.
yeah.
You,
And I think as we grow, like, I mean, the good thing so far is like, to be honest, I work maybe like one shift every like couple weeks now, and it's been the case for months. So I'm largely like off site. I don't work on site. But people think that I do because I'm in the videos. But we're also trying to get our staff involved, or like our mates as we call them, and And so like they feature in some of our videos, and we're trying to turn them into like mini celebrities, in their own right, where they feel a sense of ownership, part of this, and people can just go get sushi from these guys as well. So I think that's possibly a way that we can scale it, is by incorporating our whole team. And we've got some like great personalities, so that makes it easier. But yeah, look, none of this is easy, and there's a lot of trial and error.
100%. I think you look at that as well. But if you people want to engage, I think the more you can do that, the better. But you'll be realizing, you're probably not consciously at the moment, but as you're looking to hire people now, you'll be looking for that character within them without maybe making it overt.
Mm,
And maybe part of your criteria is, could this person front a video for us,
yeah,
or in their own unique way, not in your way, because otherwise
yeah.
it's like, oh,
Well,
they're all like a version.
that's a good like criteria to have, because the reality is the way that I engage on camera, and the way that I would love, our mates to engage on camera, is actually how I would love that engagement to be, whether there's a camera there or not. You know, we 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 do Aussie style sushi, but the other component to it is like warm, friendly Aussie hospitality. Not all of our team is Aussie, but um, being able to turn a very quick experience into a moment is something we're really interested in doing. So, on camera or not, that's kind of the vibe we want to achieve.
It's a nice little measure, though, isn't it? Yeah. But
Mm.
it's interesting. The other thing was, I had on a few weeks ago. It's not live yet. Some guys who set up um, a salad called Salad Project in London. I don't know whether you've come across
Great
them.
brand, really
Yeah.
good brand, yeah.
So we had James on, and it was fascinating. He said one of the most interesting things they're starting to do now is to go into their stores or their shops or their kiosks as customers and stand in the queue. And they said the market research and insight they get is just invaluable. They said sometimes it's a bit painful, but as a rule, it's not. It's fascinating. It's like, why do you like that bit more? And it's like, because if you ask the customer, they wouldn't tell you, but they're chatting to the mate going, he was laughing. He said, it's middle of January and I'm queuing up for a salad for half an hour. What am I doing? But I just love it. And it's like that insight you can't get.
Mm.
You have to get a disguise, because obviously if you starred in all the videos, they're going to go, hey, he's that guy.
Yeah, I strive to get to the point where we're big enough that I can turn up to a store and be like mystery shopper
Yeah.
in my own business. Hopefully we get there one day.
So on a serious note, obviously you're looking at other sites. What have you laid out a plan? Have you looked at to say, by end of 25 we've got this many stores, 26, 27? I mean, how far are you looking ahead?
Yeah, I think the plan changes based on, our performance, based on my confidence, based on belief, So one thing that, again, I've kind of um, acquired from the startup world is things move quickly, things change quickly. So I'm very comfortable with change. And, originally, I don't even know what my strict plan was. Like, all I cared about was getting the first one up and going, to be honest. Like that was the North Star. And then when we did that, then obviously it became Site 2. And then it quickly became like, okay, cool, can we do like 4 in the next year? Where I'm hoping is actually we'll end up at having opened, say, 6 from, August to August, which will have been only 1 year. That's kind of what the goal is. So like 6 in the first year, when I reflect on that, if we achieve it, when we achieve it, is absurd. So yeah, that's the next milestone is like opening another 4. From there, on paper, the plan was like maybe another 6 the year after. Now I'm thinking, well, if we can open 6 in the first year, then like, why don't we just open 15 the year after? Because like, they're small and easy to deploy, and like, again, we're not actually figuring that much out because it's already been figured out in Australia. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, yeah, it depends on our resource. Do we
So
get
you've
enough?
got, you're sort of saying there's a bit of a model to follow in that you've seen how these chains have grown there and all these types of restaurants have grown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, from a literal model point of view, we've seen the way different, as I said, different types of units operate. So it's just going out and executing. We obviously need to probably increase resource in different respects to achieve that. So we are somewhat limited by the resource that we have or do not have. But my job as founder is to go, like if we believe we can achieve X outcome, then I need to go out and make sure that we have the resource to do that. Whether that's personnel, capital, opportunity, whatever it is. That's what my job is. So yeah, I think there's the classic saying, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land on the stars. Um, you know, my mindset is just kind of like be outrageous with it and see what happens and just go for it. And hopefully we don't cause any chaos on the way.
Or
Um,
a bit of positive chaos.
yeah, positive chaos is the key. So
Yeah,
yeah, look, um, foresights, in the next few months, hopefully. This
yeah.
is our season, like April to October or so is like sushi season, as we call it, as the weather's kind of better in the UK, more appropriate for us. So
Relatively, yeah.
yeah, all relative. So just want to take advantage of that and just see how we go.
Yeah, brilliant. So you talked a bit about obviously in order to scale up, you have you taken on the investment so far?
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing that would really change the world, but enough to get us going in the early stages. And I pretty much just closed out like a kind of seed round, which will kind of fuel this next phase of growth. You know, part of what's attractive about this is like the economics of the business work and have worked since day one, so that makes it easier. And like we opened our second site up purely using the profits of the first. So there's like if we wanted to grow organically, we could. It would just be much slower. So I'm not as patient as that, especially as the first one doing this, we've got an opportunity to capitalize on that. So
Yeah.
that's why we're trying to sort of turbocharge things just a little bit. Um, and I'm pretty sure we'll need to raise more capital to achieve our goals in the future. Um,
And are
but
you comfortable with that obviously potential trade-off that eventually you'll have to give some equity up or something like
yeah,
that, that's part of it's mentally built into your journey?
yeah. I mean, look, I as much as everyone says they're in things for money. Of course, like I want to have a comfortable life and a comfortable lifestyle, and I earned reasonably well, in my prior job. So I experienced that comfortable life, but I kind of was happy to throw that away because I'm more concerned with building a brand that has impact. Um, and I believe that if I do that, then financial stuff will come to me. If I need to sell equity to achieve that, then like that's okay with me because then A, other people win as well, and B, if I build a bigger pie, then even if I've got a smaller piece of it and it's worth more than if I didn't do that, then it'll all be okay. I know that I can live a comfortable life with not much. Um, so I'm not totally motivated by that aspect. For me, it's about impact and contributing to a city, a country, a culture that is more attractive to me. And to achieve that, you know, you have to compromise certain things.
No, it's fascinating. You'd be amazed because I have been around the block a bit more than you, Adam. Be amazed how many people never even get that at my age, in their 50s, and not to work that out. That one of the biggest things I've learned over the last 10 years is that if you chase money first and you put money first, you're never going to be happy
Mm,
because you're not actually doing something you love. So if you do something you love and you do it well and with passion and with drive
mm.
and with energy, if you've got it right and the market needs it, the money definitely comes. But if it's that way round, I think you're just much more of a complete person. But
Yeah,
we're getting to life skills now.
yeah. I mean, it can be an uncomfortable, conversation to have, and just internally, let alone
Yeah, of
externally.
course.
Um, but I'm fortunate that I would say based on being like a pretty introspective and sometimes existential teenager, um, these are things I thought of quite early. And at the end of the day, like as I said before, I just want to have fun. Like, I just want to be happy.
And does your brother share a similar drive? Are you
Yeah,
DNA wise pretty similar?
yeah, we're very, very different, but we have that crazy brother telepathy thing going on where we just get each other, and we grew up as best mates. Um, you know, he is here in the with the purest of intentions to do something he loves with someone he loves. Um, and I really feel that, and I share that in that. Um, so, like he he trusts me massively, which I don't take for granted, and I think that creates a pretty strong dynamic. We now live together as well, so like we live together, we work together. We've been best mates our whole lives.
Yeah.
He's 27 and I'm 25, and um, yeah, it's quite special that we do share that same like you know we were in London yesterday and we are sitting having a coffee, and we just like we do this regularly. We just look at each other and we're like, bro, like we're literally just out here in London, just like doing sushi. Like, what is life? It's hilarious.
But fantastic, eh?
Yeah, we love it.
Oh, fabulous. Well, normally we got to the end of here. We normally get. I'm asking you to reflect on your many years of experience, but maybe we can't do that, Adam. So maybe we look forward. So, when would you and your brother be sitting there going, "Wow"? Is it 10 restaurants? Is it 20 restaurants? Do you have a secret milestone in your head that you're working towards?
Um,
Obviously, if you share it with us, it won't be secret. But maybe,
no, but I believe in the power of sort of manifestation and
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
to
yeah.
existence. So I think our brand has the capacity to have over 100 sites. Um, I would really love to build this to, 30 plus sites in the next sort of 2 or 3 years if I can. Again, we may be limited by resource and other things, but um, yeah, I just want to like open these things everywhere, and I think there's like we could have dozens and dozens, and I know like the regional cities probably only have capacity for a small handful, and
Yeah.
ultimately like London is a market that makes the most sense for us. But I think it's a brand that can be ginormous. I think there's scope for it to be an international brand. This doesn't exist in anywhere else. So
I think that's cool. And
yeah,
there's obviously quite a few Aussies in London too.
I cannot wait to get down there. We actually we we posted in like a Facebook group that we're going to be opening. We didn't say when or where, but we said it's happening. And the response we got was overwhelmingly insane, like so
Off the scale.
positive. Oh my
Yeah.
God, people are chomping at the bit, as we say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just can't wait. Like, and this is the beauty of it is like we once had someone come to the stand, an Aussie. She'd been living in Manchester for not too long, and I think she was feeling a bit homesick, and she started crying, tears of joy mostly, but she started crying because of how overwhelmed she was at the fact that she missed this sushi so much, and like it just made her feel that piece of home, you know, and that's so powerful. And we've got that opportunity to do that with like thousands and thousands of people in London. So I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
super excited.
Brilliant. I love it. Right. We will keep in touch. This should be a very interesting. I think we could probably do it. Only have to wait a year to get the update because I think it could be a very different picture hearing about that ambition.
Let's set that as the goal.
All right, mate. This time next year, as we say.
Sounds good.
I'll be over to Manchester in the next couple of weeks, and so I will be sampling your delights.
I'll be forcing you to eat your body weight in it, Steve.
Be careful of that.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, Adam, that's been brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.